Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into some Derek Carr rumors. The Las Vegas Raiders made a move today, adding somebody to the practice squad. That also means that they cut somebody from the practice squad. And then the top trending stories. We're breaking it all down for you today. And then even the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a big-time news bit. Who's going to be starting against the Raiders on Christmas Eve? All of that is coming up for you right now. So the first thing that we're going to hit here is the Las Vegas Raiders. I told y'all a few days ago when DJ Turner was released by the team, if he cleared waivers, the Raiders would bring him back to the practice squad. It is officially official. Turner's back with the team, and then unfortunately, when you add somebody, you got to move on from somebody. So wide receiver Malik Turner, they cut him, but welcome back Turner the Burner. If you haven't already subscribed to the Raiders Report, make sure you do videos all season long. Plus, it's 100% free. We go live every Tuesday. I'll be live on Thursday for a Thursday night football watch party with my guy Jeremy Chuggs. And then Saturday, Christmas Eve, no days off here. We're live for the Raiders game. It's a big one against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's now get into the top trending stories. And, Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I was walking into work today, and I told my dad, I'm not talking about Derek Carr. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Clown face right here. It's me. Derek Carr, is he returning to the Raiders in 2023? I got to give this one only one just win, baby, and I'm going to say there's a 25% chance of this happening, and I even believe it might be lower than that. And the reason why we're talking about this is because there was a report out there from Sports Illustrated's Hondo Carpenter that said no decision has been made yet on Derek Carr. Carr's final 3 years of his contract, they are not guaranteed. In fact, the Las Vegas Raiders could move on from D.C. and save $110.68 million, which I feel like I've said that number so many times, it is just permanently locked in my mind. Also, D.C. does have a no-trade clause. But when I think about this story, I saw some very interesting quotes out there from Hondo. I'll tell you exactly what he had to say, and then I'll give you my 2 cents on that story. So here we go. Hondo Carpenter on Derek Carr's future. The Raiders have not decided to move on from Derek, although the Raiders are willing to move on from any player on the roster who they feel makes them better. That said, there is a known sentiment that McDaniels and Ziegler believe in and love Derek, as I reported when Silver and Black hired McDaniels. The presence of Carr was a big reason he took the job. Now, here's what I was told, and this was last week, and I'm going to reiterate this. I was told that Derek Carr's, career is in the hands of these next 4 games. And the reason why it's in the next 4 games is this. Dave Ziegler, Josh McDaniels are going to look at those final 4 games and say, you got Josh Jacobs, you got Devontae Adams, you got Hunter Renfrow, you got Darren Waller. They extended Waller, they extended Renfrow, you gave Devontae a huge deal, and I am in the belief that Josh Jacobs is going to come back next season on a franchise tag. The only other question is, you got all those players healthy, you're in the end of the season, you should finally start to be able to pick up the McDaniel system. If Derek performs well and continues to perform well these final 4 games, he could be back next season. The issue is this. The first game, which was Week 15 against New England, I'd say that Derek performed well in that one. Did he throw a bad pick 6? Yes, he did. But 3 touchdowns, 231 yards, came up clutch when it mattered the most, hit Keelan Cole on a touchdown. You still got to play well, though, against Pittsburgh. You got to play well against a very good team in the 49ers and then the Chiefs. That's why it's only just win. Only one just win, baby. It's got to be that because the odds are still stacked against Carr. You don't give Derek the type of contract you do if he's guaranteed to come back next season. Has there been ups and downs? Yes, absolutely. But that's basically every season with Derek Carr. When we talk about number 4, it is always so split. And it's split because when you watch him play, sometimes he goes out there and you're like, holy shit, this guy is easily a top 10 quarterback. And then there's other parts of the game where you're like, what the hell? Is this some different guy? And I get it. He's had an up and down career. But Derek is a good quarterback. But there is a part of me, it's like, should you finally move on? This season, the passing ranks. He's 11th in the NFL with passing yards. Passing touchdowns with 23 is 8th in the NFL. He does have the 3rd most interceptions, but a lot of other good quarterbacks are up there in that range. Completion percentage among quarterbacks that qualified, 31st in the NFL. And then QBR at number 10. So here's my question. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's live show. Do you want Derek Carr back next season? Type yes, type no. If you want to explain why it's yes, if you want to explain why it's no, please do. Just know that if you say no, it does not make you a Raider hater. It just means that you want something different, which not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So do you want Derek Carr back next season? Let me know down in the comments. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, more interesting quotes about Carr from Hondo, Carpenter. But before I get into all of that, I'm trying to save money during the holiday season, y'all. I'm trying to cancel subscriptions. And I tell you this, if you share accounts with your wife, your girlfriend, significant other, people who you're related to, family, this is definitely a great app for you. Go to rocketmoney.com/LB Raiders. Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think that they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to $200. That's right. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you didn't even know about. There's an app I love using that takes care of it for me. It's called Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place, then cancels for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't even know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription. To cancel a subscription, all you have to do is press cancel, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/LV Raiders. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/LB Raiders. And I always tell you guys this, right, during the holiday season, just in general in life, I try to find sponsors for y'all that you can actually use, that are going to help out your life, and they're going to help make your life easier, better. Make your life easier, better. Who knows? You might watch more Raiders Report videos, and if your life is more difficult, then a guy named Brandon Jasper might show up at your doorstep, and you don't want that. So here we go. We're going to keep on talking about Derek Carr returning in 2023. It is still just one just win, baby, for me, and that's not me just saying I don't believe in Carr. I think McDaniels is going to go with a different route, going to go with a quarterback that he believes can handle his system better, unless he plays better down the end of the stretch. Let's go back to what Hondo Carpenter, though, had to say about Derek Carr's future. There are some things to consider with Derek. He has a no-trade clause, and Carr said he would retire before playing for anybody else. The feeling around the Raiders and the NFL is that, according to one NFL executive, there is a thorough process that he would not go to just anywhere, but there is a handful of clubs he would consider. If you could put me full screen real quick here, Jeremy, I actually said this, I'm going to say a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago at this point, that I was told also by a source that Derek would consider waiving his no-trade clause. And the reason is this. Does he want to be a Raider? Yes. Does he want to retire a Raider? Yes. But you're talking about millions and millions of dollars on the line, and if he wants to go somewhere else to get millions and millions of dollars, he's going to do it. He's going to put his well-being and his family first. That's what you should do. It's what I would do. It's what you always put family first. I love the Raiders. Don't get me wrong. But you should always put your family first. So let's just say Derek Carr says, you know what? I'm going to waive that no-trade clause. This has not been reported. This is what I believe the top 8 teams most likely that Derek Carr would play for in 2023 if he was traded. The Houston Texans. I know for a fact that he's got a great relationship with Houston. Arizona. Kyler Murray. I don't anticipate Kyler Murray playing at all in Arizona next season because of that ACL. The Green Bay Packers. What happens if Aaron Rodgers decides to retire? Rich Bisaccia is there. Relationship. Indianapolis Colts. They need a quarterback. Guess who's there? Gus Bradley. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think Tom Brady's going to be back for Tampa. Derek could go to a team that's ready to compete. Carolina, no quarterback there. New Orleans, quarterback shit show. And then the New York Jets. The New York Jets are a very good football team, and I don't know if you're watching. Zach Wilson, he ain't the guy. So I don't think an NFL team trades a first-round pick for Derek, which that's going to upset some people out there, which is totally fine. I always just try to give my honest, God-honest opinion. And last offseason, you could have probably got a first-round pick and maybe even more for Derek. Unfortunately, now, if you move on from him or it's been noted that you're moving on from him, NFL teams are not going to give you the top, price for him. You're going to go at a discounted price. And I'm not saying that Derek Carr is as good as Carson Wentz. I think Carr is better than Carson Wentz, and he's better than Matt Ryan. However, I do think the deal that the Las Vegas Raiders would end up getting would be very similar to both of those trades. So here's the Carson Wentz trade. The Commanders, they got Wentz and a second-round pick in 2022. The Colts got a second and a third-round pick, and then a conditional third-round pick. For the Matt Ryan trade, the Atlanta Falcons got a third-round pick, which was 82 overall. The Colts got Matt Ryan. I will also say this. Both of those teams, I believe, probably regret making those trades, which then makes other teams in the future think, all right, do we really want to trade for another quarterback that's getting up there in age, that's had some issues in the past? I don't have the answer to that. All I try to do is give you my best educated guess in terms of how much the Raiders could get if they decide to trade Derek Carr. So here we go. More interesting quotes here from Hondo on Derek Carr's future. Derek has been different this year. His teammates have noticed it as well. He has given maximum effort, but he seems to easily get frustrated. One organization member told me, I don't know what bothers him. I love him, but it seems obvious that he is not his old self. I love him. I want him here, and I'm not rooting for a change. He added, I can only imagine the constant barrage of negativity gets effing old. And let me just say this, right? I love doing my job here, and Raider Nation is the most passionate fan base that I have ever seen. And Derek Carr has dealt with a lot of people chirping, me included. No doubt about it. Half of his family has blocked me on Twitter. Derek, though, has dealt with more BS than any other quarterback in NFL history. I said it. When you think about the different OCs, the different head coaches, having bad defenses, head coaching, John Gruden, the Henry Ruggs situation, I mean, Derek has dealt with it all, right? And I get that that's a lot of the reasons why people don't want to move on from Derek. It's part of the reasons why I sit up here and I'm like, man, if he just had a system that he could sit in for 3 years and a good defense, you would get a good version of Derek Carr. But I also say this. I also think it's okay for Raider Nation is also allowed to feel upset about Carr's performance. Because you go all the way back to 2017 when the Raiders made Derek Carr the highest paid quarterback in the NFL at 5 years, $125 million. When you're made the highest paid quarterback in the league, you're expected to carry your team no matter what. So that first deal that you got with Derek did not work out. So now you brought in a brand new regime that gave him another favorable contract if he performs, and he hasn't performed up to the level that you were expecting. So all I'm saying is this. People are like, Mitch, you don't know if the grass is greener. In the NFL, it's about playoff wins, Super Bowl wins, and if you have never had any of those, is the grass even green? I'm not sure. I love Derek. I will always respect Derek Carr, but there has to come a time. Do you move on, or do you keep doing status quo? I personally don't like status quo. Now, we will say this, though. We get to see Derek in a cold, cold game up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is going to be one hell of a game. Hopefully, y'all tuned in. And remember, subscribe, set a reminder. Jeremy Jugs and I, Christmas Eve, we're going to be partying. We got some fun Christmas stuff happening. So hopefully, y'all tune into a crazy Week 16 game against Pittsburgh. Speaking of the Steelers here, is Kenny Pickett going to be starting against the Raiders? You better give this one 4 just win babies. Believe it, baby. I was curious to see if they were going to roll with Mitch Trubisky, but it looks like Kenny Pickett has passed his concussion protocol, and Mike Tomlin stated today on Tuesday that he is the expected starter. So you're going to get the rookie. And I had some people, joking with me on social media because I said, get ready for Pickett. They were probably the same people that were laughing at Baker Mayfield starting. If you got to go into a week and you don't know if it's going to be Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky, that makes it a little bit more difficult. The fact that Tomlin has kind of already pointed out that this is going to be the Kenny Pickett show, I actually like that, because I would have been more frustrated, or it's more frustrating as a defensive coordinator if you don't know if you're planning for Trubisky or Kenny Pickett. Kind of the same quarterback, but hey, they are a little bit different. So what do you think here? Who's the better QB? Is it Mitch Trubisky? Is it Kenny Pickett? Type MT for Mitch Trubisky or KP for Kenny Pickett. Final story here on Rumors is going to be around Chandler Jones. Should Raider Nation believe in Chandler Jones? We called him Where's Waldo. He didn't show up for the first 3 months. Do you believe in Chandler Jones? I do. 4 just win babies. What I have seen out of Mr. Chandler Jones over the past month, it should inspire you at least a little bit. Just a little bit, right? If he keeps on performing and getting better, you got to feel a little bit better in him. 35 tackles this season, 4.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries. When you look at his stats per month, okay, September, joke. October, spook fest. November, he went no sack November. And now you got December, 11 tackles, 4 sacks, 3 pass breakups, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, a touchdown, but it's also his pressures. His pressures are just unbelievably higher, and the reason why the Raiders' defense has played so much better in the month of December and over the final 4 games, it's because Chandler has stepped his game up. I don't know if he just needed to get more comfortable in the Patrick Graham system. I don't know exactly what's happened, but the reason why the Raiders defense has been playing well the past 4 games is because of Chandler Jones, and he deserves some recognition. But for the contract that he signed, he needs to keep on balling out. Now, if you haven't already followed me on Instagram or Twitter, y'all, please make sure you do so. You guys know where to find me at this point, right? I would freaking hope so. If you haven't joined our diehard Raider fans over on Locals, go to RaidersReport.locals.com, which is where we're trying to figure out if Jeremy and I are going to do a taco eating contest, if we're going to eat the chip again. Wild One posted something over there. I know the people who are on Locals. I love getting to know them, and I also want to give huge shout outs to every single person that is on our Mount Rushmore. And if you're new to the show, these are the people who have helped grow the Raiders Report more than anybody. Shout out to Drive-In, David Zahn, Raider Ron, Raiders Podcast, Wild 114, but a huge shout out to Raiders Podcast who joined Mount Rushmore this past week. And because we do a freaking week pick'em thing, I'm actually mad at you, Aaron. I'm mad that you keep winning. Back-to-back weeks, Aaron Devandry gets the win 4 times this entire season. We do an NFL pick'em challenge over on Locals. Join some diehard Raider fans, RaidersReport.locals.com. All right, before we put a bow on this news and rumors show, the Raiders did not practice today, but because they have a game on Saturday, the team puts out a estimated injury report. In total, 9 players. Alec Bars did not participate with a knee. Jackson Barton did not participate with a back. Andrew Billings would have been limited. I am hoping Billings is able to get out there. Darian Butler, limited. Jermaine Illuminor, full participant. Deron Harmon, limited. Dylan Parham did not participate. Zamir White, Rocky Sin, the 3 names that I'm going to be looking, that's a lie, 4 names that I'm going to be looking at the closest this week. Dylan Parham, Alex Bars, going up against the tough Steelers defense. I want to see Andrew Billings out there, and I really, really hope that Rock Ya-Sin can return against the Pittsburgh Steelers.